All right, we have a difficult truth with us today. ADT, how are you today, buddy?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
Sunday. Sunday, just hanging out and chilling.
We're chilling. We are chilling, dude. We've invited you here today in the spirit of building leftist unity, strength, and power. In the same spirit, buddy, thank you for being willing to hang out with me today on this Sunday. And what we're going to do is start digging right in, buddy.
right.
Where are they now? What's your story? Where can people find you, and what do you do?
Well, my story is starting back from, I guess, 2011. I think that was the second Obama administration, was it not? I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah.
That's where the whole political journey started, and it was all the catalyst that began the whole thing was the Dakota Access Pipeline protests and how the Obama administration handled it, or lack thereof, because it's 2021 and, just recently they may possibly stop it, but we don't know for sure. And that kind of just cascaded into where we are now. ADifficultTruth originally, believe it or not, was actually a band. Still is a band. It's still a band. Same three people. If you if you join us on Saturdays, you'll see the co-host who's the original founder of ADifficultTruth, and basically it was a band that was named after a song called ADifficultTruth. So that's where that name comes from. Until this day, we still play music. We still, the co-host is in another state, but up until just 2 years ago, we still even practiced together. Before COVID, we still practiced together, and therefore that's where all of that came from. Where you can find me on social media, everywhere: Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all of that is it. Even Facebook page. All of it is ADifficultTruth. So that's pretty easy. All of it is just insert social media name ADifficultTruth. You'll find this.
Awesome. So let's keep digging in then. Are you a full-time streamer, content creator? What do you like do these days? What else?
I am I wish I was a full-time streamer. One day we'll get there.
Yeah, I hope so.
What I do is I do customer service for insurance, for because I live in Florida, so I do customer service for insurance. Yeah, I'm a Florida man. That's right. So I do customer service for insurance. So I deal with people on the daily, and I guess that kind of helps when you do streaming, right?
Yeah, it's a skill. It definitely comes in handy.
Oh yeah.
So that's cool. That's cool. So now we could talk a little bit about what's grinding your gears. What's on your mind? It could be topical or otherwise. It could be whatever you've been spending time talking about on your channel. What's grinding your gears?
Funny enough, when things grind my gears, I try not to talk about it.
Oh.
I try to not address it.
Yeah.
I think that one of the things that have been kind of grinding my gears in my mind, that is recent, or I guess current events, is a lot of the drama that seems to be circulating recently among lefty Twitch. And it's kind of just been bugging me, and kind of even to a degree a little bit bumming me out. I see people upset about certain things, and it's like, come on, guys. I think that maybe just the more I think about it, the more and more I start to dislike the drama farming, for content creation, and a lot of content creators, or I guess bigger content creators, who do a lot of drama farming, I kind of like more and more begin to dislike that now that I see what it can become. And unfortunately, Lefty Twitch has kind of been in this weird drama arc this last couple of weeks, I think. And I think you would agree that if you've been like roaming around, you kind of heard some of it, I imagine. But yeah, usually
the thing is, I couldn't even tell you which drama you're talking about right now. Like
that's a
X,
good
Y,
thing.
or Z or ABC.
That's a
right?
good thing. That's a good thing.
It's good. No, I was saying there's so much going on. I'm not even sure what you're referring to. Oh yeah.
Just
there's sort of a lot.
Right. It's just like just my point is I don't want to call attention to it. Mm-hmm. So I'm just kind of speaking in a very vague form. I'm sure people are aware of what's been happening, and I just kind of want to. It was kind of upsetting to the point where yesterday's Saturday stream, I just decided to do a video game stream where we played Subnautica for a couple of hours.
Good game.
Just like this cathartic, just to take a step back and just have some, and just have some chill times in the water world of Subnautica, right? Mm-hmm. It's just like, come on, guys. That's, let's just take a step back here. I think we're humans first, and I think that people do better when they work together, and this is not healthy.
Love that. Some good wisdom there. Subnautica is fun, by the way. It's like underwater futuristic Valheim. I don't know.
Yes.
Hey, now we get to talk more about your leftward bound journey. So this is the discussion about your pathway to leftism. You don't have to define your ideology or politics in any way. You're encouraged to. So let's go ahead and how about we start there?
Right. So I alluded to a tiny bit of it where we started our political journey, during, I think it was like the second Obama administration. It was definitely about 2011 is always like the date that sticks in my head when we really started to do or be more politically active, because we saw what happened with the Dakota Access Pipeline, and it was very upsetting. And I started thinking about climate change. And then all of a sudden, fast forward, 10 years now? And that's where we are here. The biggest push for me in terms of like where or how I became the political, where I got all my politics is basically just climate change. And then from there, it branched off to like starting to ask questions about like whether or not the stuff that we're doing as a society is good. And I started questioning if whether or not maybe there's a better alternative to things, whether or not maybe we could do better. And here we are. That's how we got here.
Yeah, it's fascinating. So, looking at the failures of the Dakota Access Pipeline, sort of seeing that no matter what, it seems like we don't get a say in that, and that I don't know. Is that maybe what pulled you left? Part of it as well.
Yeah. Not only that, it's just like the handling of it was horrifying.
Okay. Yeah. Go more into that. What was
I'm pretty sure like a lot of us saw the images and the way the government was handling the situation with
a rough crackdown.
Yes. Okay. And
right. It seemed to precede like all of the police brutality that we saw this past summer. It honestly seemed to precede that. You could say that, or Ferguson. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but yeah. It was quite brutal, the violence that was met on those protesters.
Yeah, and for what? That's kind of like what you start asking questions about. Like, wait a minute, hold on. Number one, that's their land. Number two, like a lot of the problems that we're having exacerbated by climate change and stuff like that can be I mean, traced back to oil and gas and fossil fuels. Like, and the more, like, that's what I was saying. Like, the more I like started kind of falling into that rabbit hole, the more I realized, like, wait a minute, hold on. And it just gets more and more frustrating, the fact that a lot of these companies lie and continue to lie about what's going on.
So now that we've been able to talk about what you're up to and your leftward bound journey, actually, before we depart leftward bound, I was wondering if there's anything else. This is your chance to mention any aspects of politics, theory, thinking, history, your own personal experiences beyond what we've mentioned so far. And of course, you can always say pass. Anything else that helped pull your heart and mind to the left?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
as
like
much time as you like here. We're having fun.
That's like the, I guess, personal experiences in terms of like watching the story. That particular story is kind of like where it all started. But in terms of like what my politics are or what you can like get as an ideology from me, I basically derive my ideology from what and the more I thought about it, and the more I arrived at these conclusions, which I know that some of you may have heard me talk about what I call the quote unquote 4 pillars, which are basically just food, housing, education, and healthcare. And I feel like the more I realized and thought about things, the more I realized, like, wait a minute, if we can get a society, especially one like here in the US, where we have more than enough resources and wealth to provide people these basic things or get them these basic things, I feel like then we start to move in a better direction in terms of society. A lot of domino effects from having people, making sure people have food, housing, and education and healthcare are overwhelmingly positive and reduce a lot of our issues, I think. And there's a lot of domino effects that come from that. So that's kind of my ideology. I think that I like democracy in terms of, I am a huge fan of a democratic system. I believe that democratic systems are probably the best we have in terms of politics. And in order for a democratic system to be as good as possible, it needs to be strong, inclusive, and transparent. And I think that if we get there, we will be in a much better place.
What about our current state of democracy here in the United States? It sort of doesn't feel very democratic.
I was going to ask. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. What? Because like, in order for you to have a like healthy democracy, we need strong institutions. Clearly, our institutions are broken. We need transparency in our institutions. We don't really have that. And we don't really have inclusivity. And what I mean by that is people need to, in order for a democracy to be strong and healthy, they need to participate in it. And a lot of people feel disillusioned, and rightfully so. So therefore, they don't participate. You go in like other places that are more like have a quote unquote more democratic like platform, at least like I don't know, like a parliamentary system where there's multiple parties. People feel like they have a home in terms of politics. They feel like, oh, actually, I'm more of a green person. Well, there's a Green Party. In terms of like climate change. Oh yeah, I'm a member of the Green Party, or yeah, I'm a member of the Labor, whatever. It seems like things like this are necessary for a democracy to be better, because you need to encourage people to participate in order for it to work. And I think that a lot of people are disillusioned, and rightfully so. I mean, your choices are effectively R or D. That's not good.
Not our R's or D's. Sorry, that one got away from me. No, yeah, you're absolutely right. Okay. Anything else we need to mention in the leftward bound journey here? Anything else on your mind?
I think that's pretty much it. I mean,
good.
my politics are very simple. I like democracy, and I want people to have food, housing, education, and healthcare. I don't think that's a lot to ask for.
let me just throw something in there. Electoral college, go.
Undemocratic, antiquated.
Yeah.
I think that if there's literally every single election, in terms of like senators, congresspeople, local elections, state elections, all of them are done by just like whoever gets the most votes wins. I don't understand where the fascination with this antiquated system is, because
Yeah.
it doesn't work the way they thought it would, and it doesn't do the things that they intended it to do anyways, and it doesn't even like necessarily balance things out the way it was originally thought it would. I think that albeit maybe I don't know what their thought process was to create an institution like this, but I think that it's just unnecessary.
How about the Senate? Go.
The Senate,
This is fun.
I think that the Senate probably should just be an expansion of the House. I think that the Senate holds way too much power. It is way too much power. Maybe just make a bigger House.
Hey,
I don't know.
it's just entirely non-democratic. It's totally arbitrary. It's totally fucked up.
I get maybe the thinking of like how to balance things, but it didn't really work out the way they thought they did. Right?
Excuse me. Sorry, ADT. I'm so sorry.
No, go for it.
Oh, no, I was just agreeing with you. Yeah, they made it. They're like, oh, the Senate's for the states to do the states things. But then you look at all of their, committees and subcommittees, and they're almost fucking exact. Like the Senate has almost the same exact subcommittees as the House.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I think that
just make them do the same shit.
Yeah, I think it's just like a parliamentary type system would just probably be better, I think. Of course, it has its own problems, but I think it would be better than the one that we have. But that's not going to change anytime soon.
Any favorite types of systems you'd like?
What I would like to see in the preliminaries, I think, like in the first step, in the first step is like, can we just get a vote on healthcare? Can we just have a debate on like healthcare? Can we have a serious conversation about what we're gonna do as we turn the corner with corona? We actually turn the corner with coronavirus. Hopefully by the end of this year, things will look slightly better. I guess. I hope. But as we start moving from this and we start to pull away from coronavirus, can we have like a debate about like a vote? Not a debate, a vote on healthcare, and can we start talking about climate change? And what I mean by we, I mean the legislation, the House, the Senate, the President needs to start talking about these things and putting plans in place and putting plans in action now. That's just the first thing. Like what I want to see. Just please, can we get a vote on healthcare? Holy, come on. A universal healthcare system, please. But yes, I would like to see as a baseline to start moving into some type of Norway, Sweden type thing as a base. I mean, Finland was doing an amazing pilot program where they provided the homeless everything. They provided homeless people housing, food, resources to get jobs, and they already have healthcare, so they moved pilot programs in place, and it had an overwhelming success rate. Why can't we do that here? I would also further say to like move things economically. I think that a good thing that might be beneficial in the long run is maybe if we want to test out alternative systems, maybe we should encourage loans to start worker co-ops. I think that would be a fantastic and interesting idea to pilot test and have like a state or a couple of states try. Somebody mentioned to me maybe even through like credit unions, have credit unions encourage like loans to start worker co-ops and things like that. I think that maybe we could move in that direction. That would be cool. Just as a little pilot test. I think that would be interesting. That's where I want to see things moving.
Look at the big brains on Brad over here. I love it. I'm loving being able to chat with you today. A Difficult Truth. This is really wonderful. So now we get to go ahead and take some of these thoughts, these ideas, your leftward bound journey, your life, what you're up to, etc., and more. Boil them down into a piece of advice in this next section we call #BeBest. If you had a chance to teach a younger self or share some lessons with our viewers, what might you share?
The lessons that I would share with viewers,
sure.
I would just say, like, guys, everybody, I think, would benefit from empathy, compassion, and I think that people as a whole, and as if I'm talking to the whole world, if I'm talking to the whole planet, I think that people need to start seeing people as human beings first. And I think that if we start, if we start that way, I think we can make a better world. And I think that also we work better together. Just in general, we work better together. So I think that that's another thing to keep in mind. If I was talking to the world, or if I was just talking to everybody.
Wonderful advice. A Difficult Truth. I love it. Love your face, dude. Thank you for sharing that. Then that means that we have a good chunk of time left to do the Leftist Inquisition.
Yes, that's what I'm excited for. Let's do it.
I'm excited too. I'm glad you're excited. What's your favorite word at ADT?
My favorite word, yes.
Yes. Why?
My favorite word is yes.
Yeah. Okay. How about this? How about your least favorite word?
I don't know. That's a good question. My least favorite word. Onomatopoeia. It's too long. It's too long and too hard to pronounce.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just memeing. I really don't know like a good. I really don't know like a word that I just really dislike. But yeah, I guess I'll choose that one just for the memes.
Very, very fair. Onomatopoeia. It's spelled so strangely. You're like,
yeah,
what?
It's confusing.
It's like one of these words I see once a year. I'm like, wait, what? Oh, right. Okay, got it. Takes my brain like way too long, but that's me. How about all right, A Difficult Truth. Do you have a favorite drug or vice or guilty pleasure?
Guilty pleasure.
Yeah. You can name one of each, by the way.
Occasionally, I do like a good rum and coke. Ooh, rum and coke is pretty good on the special occasions.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of a guilty pleasure. I don't know if that's a guilty pleasure though. Is it? I like
necessarily think so.
I like playing video games a lot, and I like playing first-person shooter video games. But that's not like, I don't know. That's a guilty pleasure that I don't do like on stream or like. But that's just something that I just love to do as like me time.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
During like really downtime, I'd love to play Halo. I've may or may not have mentioned it a couple of times, but Halo is one of my favorite games, and it is definitely one of my guilty pleasures as a way to like escape and have fun.
I love it. I also play games often, but not on stream. It's for me. It's like, it's not for you. This is for me. You distract me if I'm playing. How about sounds? Do you have a favorite sound or a noise that you love?
Yes. I love a perfectly tuned instrument. I love, because I'm a musician. I think I mentioned that earlier, that this whole A Difficult Truth thing started as a band. So I just like when I pick up the guitar, tune it to like where it's supposed to be tuned, and just like strum the chords, and they're all perfectly in tune. Yes, I love that noise. I think you mentioned you're a musician too, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you may feel me in some level down there.
I feel similarly. I would say it's honestly an out of tune instrument is a sound that I hate.
Yes.
And if it's out of tune, I need to fix it, and then it sounds normal. I don't
Yes.
necessarily love it, although there are some instruments when strummed nicely, you're like, oh shit.
Yes.
All right, but for me, it's more about the opposite. Like it drives me nuts when it's out of tune. So
Yes.
I'll do like simple Johnny Cash, like singy songwriter, song stuff. But if my guitar is out of tune, I go nuts. I'm like, I gotta tune my guitar.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
In between every song,
exactly.
dude,
So
'cause I'm
whenever
always
it's in
changing the
perfect
capo.
tune.
Right.
Yes.
Fuck yeah. Do you have like a sound or noise that you dislike?
Let's see. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Okay. The sound that I really, really dislike is the Windows 10 error, or like any Windows error noise, because that means something's not right. So that is one of my like sounds. At the moment I hear it, I like perk up, like, oh no, what's going on here?
I wonder if my stream is like intolerable to watch because I have all those sounds.
No, because that's part of the charm. The thing is,
Okay.
like, that's all part of your like cool like layout.
Oh.
I'm saying, like, when I'm just trying to do something, I'm doing my thing, and then you get the error message. Oof.
What is it? It goes bunk. It's like
Yeah,
tung.
like,
yeah.
no.
It's like a deep, unsettling sound. I can't remember what it goes like. Okay. Then, the next question is about reincarnation. If you came back as a plant or some non-human animal, what would you choose?
Let me see. I think I would choose a bird. Now the question is what bird? But I would definitely choose a bird. Maybe maybe a parrot, because those guys they can live for decades and decades and decades, and I would have the opportunity to explore and fly around with the migration patterns and all that awesome stuff, and see like the world like from a up above view. Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool.
Nice. I think you're first to say the parrot. Well done. Well done. Not that there's anything wrong about repeating, but okay. Now, the next question is the God question.
Yes.
All right. So let's say you find out heaven and God exist. What would you like to hear God say when you arrive at your version of the pearly gates at the end of your life?
I think I would really like to hear a very, very, very detailed explanation as to why, who, what, when, where, why. I would like an entire book report. Like, dude, you saw what you see what we see, right? Supposedly, dude. I would really, really, really like to hear a entire book report of an explanation. That's what I wanna hear.
Then let's turn to an influential leftist. If you can meet any influential leftist, a difficult truth, whether they be dead or alive, who would you like to meet?
I think that in terms of influential leftists who I'd like to meet, there are a couple on my mind, but I think that in terms of like wisdom, and I think like who I would really just kind of want to have, even if it's just the smallest of conversations, it doesn't matter, would be Noam Chomsky. I think that Noam Chomsky has a wealth of knowledge in there that I would love to just have a conversation about. I think that he has so many good points, and is correct when he talks about like climate change as being an existential threat, if not the existential threat. Um, I mean, he's been, I think, on point for 99.9% of the comments I've heard him say. Um, and he is a strong critique of, he's a strong critic of, well, power. So I think that's always important. And I think that if I were just to have just a few minutes, I think that I could learn so much in terms of what is in his head.
So we can talk about what you'd ask them if you'd like. However, the next question is, what do you think Gnome would think about you? We sort of know what Gnome thinks about the world. What would Gnome think about ADT?
I don't know.
What would you like him to think to say about you? Either
Ho-
or.
Hopefully that I'm doing good in the world. That the type of content that I do does good in the world. That's what I would like to hear. The stuff that I do and the things that I say make a positive impact, and that's what I would ask or like to hear the answer to.
After all, Noam Chomsky, he's just a content creator.
Right.
Right. Then what would you ask Gnome? I think that was sort of in there. Maybe what you would ask. Is there anything else you would ask Gnome?
I would ask that, knowing the things that he does, dude, do you think we'll make it?
What do you mean by that? Make
Like,
it in what way?
in terms of like, because I'm sure that Noam Chomsky is very, very well educated. Like, do you think that we'll make it in terms of like climate change? Can we avert like this? Do we like? I mean, because he's spoken multiple times about it, and he feels like it's a very, very strong issue. And in fact, he has said multiple times that it's probably one of the, if not the existential threat to humanity. So like, I'll probably ask him, like, given your, I think he's what, like 90 something years of experience. I mean, do you think like we'll make it? In terms of like turning the ship around based on what you see and know.
Now, I was thinking during that time, he like responds to emails. You know what I mean? Would you consider emailing him?
That'd be cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah.
He responds to like everyone's email. Like,
What?
eternally online leftists are just completely filling up his his box. He responds
Hey, I mean,
pretty well.
the guy has a lifetime of experience. Yeah, I mean, I would imagine.
Okay, then what I get to ask last, ADT, what streamer advice do you have for beginning or existing streamers?
Just start.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it can't be like much more than that. Like, just start. Like, if you really feel like you have content that you want to put out there, and you feel like you have a message out there to the world, just start. It doesn't matter how or what you have, as long as you have just some basic basic equipment to start. Just do it. Just go for it. I think that once you start streaming or creating content, it just becomes easier from there.
Mm-hmm.
And as you learn, because really I don't think that there's any real like magic formula to do content creation or anything like that. Everything that I've done is just trial and error. Of course, there are some things that are pretty universal in terms of like being a content creator and doing social media. There are small things that are like universal, but it's all a lot of trial and error. So just start and just don't be afraid to be yourself, and just if you have a message you want to send to the world and you want to do it, just go for it. Why? Nobody's stopping you.
Beautiful advice right there. That's right. You can do it. You can do it. Hey, ADT, that brings us to the end of my questionnaire. However, the questions don't end there. If you have anything to ask me, now is your time. And if you see any questions in the chat you're willing to answer, you can do so. Please just ignore everything else. That's what I do. Yeah. What do you think? Bud? Yeah. Any questions for me? We could start with that. Someone's asking about Cuba. Whatever you want.
Yeah. When did you start your journey as a content creator? I mean, I think that I find people's stories interesting. And how did you arrive at where you are?
Yeah, I started in my edgy atheist phase, in my lib atheist phase, doing interviews of people on Periscope. And I would interview people in the chat, and I would use this sort of formula type method of interviewing people called street epistemology. It's really just Socratic method, but it's designed to have specific conversations with people in a different way. And I found that to be really productive. I wanted to do productive type content. And I, because I felt drawn towards being angry and mad. And I'm like, all right, well, anyone can do that. Let's try to do better. Let's try to be best. So I would do these interviews. I did hundreds of them. I would eventually want to try to do OBS stuff and stream to YouTube live. I wasn't really aware of Twitch at the time, but I didn't have the hardware to do it. So sort of put that aside and just started doing random other type jobs in my life. Eventually COVID hit and I wanted to come back to streaming. And I held a little fundraiser and I invited friends and family, raised a bunch of money to build a streaming PC. And it's sort of been almost a year now. I started streaming music and I knew I wanted to talk about politics, but I didn't feel like I had an important voice. It was easy to find other really important voices that I didn't want to obscure or anything. I don't know. I was trying to find my place also as a relatively new leftist. I was convincing myself that anti-capitalism can't be reformed, police can't be reformed. If this was all happening, in the past year or two, right? So 5-6 months into streaming, they shut down the Twitch Sings application, which is where I spent most of my time. And I just decided when they announced that I'd just do a hard shift into sort of like reaction content, hanging out with chat. I just enjoy that as well. And then a little while after that, I decided after watching a lot of Hassan and Bleep Blop Ben, I'd start digging into the politics and fuck, man. I've also along the way, I started to produce for Kenzo Shibata, his show, Meet the Left. I've been doing that for almost 30 weeks now. And I find that, we wanted to make that show because we'd seen all the people yelling at the camera all day, and we wanted to do something else. We wanted to do a different kind of a panel show, so that's why we did that show. I look at this show as sort of like a baby version of it, you know what I mean? In many ways. So it sort of gives you the journey there, yeah.
Interesting. Have you considered producing music, like as a musician?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, a little bit, and I've worked in Ableton a little bit. I just don't love. Currently, I don't love the process. I've been enjoying this, and I don't know. It could be something someday I dig into. I like the idea of looping and doing live loops and stuff, but I don't know. It's a funny thing because me as a singer and as a musician is maybe one of my strengths in the world, and instead of what I'm doing is, diving headfirst into politics where I don't really know that much, but I try to give back where I can.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like the point that I was saying. Like, if you think you have something important to say to the world, just do it, right? I mean, you did. You just did. You said, hey, maybe I have something to contribute, and so here you are. So yeah, I think that kind of circles back to that advice. I did see a comment. I think you mentioned Cuba. I think that I think that you can say that. I think that you can say. Cuba's for example, medical healthcare system is impressive, while also saying I'm not feeling the authoritarianism. And you can also say that it's not up to the U.S. to dictate what they do and what they don't do. You can say all of these things, I think, simultaneously. I feel like the best thing that the U.S. can do is try to like solve things here. I think we have way more issues to tackle here. And just to kind of throw a little tidbit at Left Flank Vets, who, by the way, was a great conversation. Is we have, we have like a $700 and something billion military budget. Like, can we just focus and like fix some stuff here? Can we just please get healthcare? I mean, like, we don't need to like mess around like in other countries and just leave people alone. Whatever. Like, that's what they do is their prerogative. Yes, lift sanctions and leave people alone. So just leave people alone. Like, let's focus and get people here, like healthcare. We have a homeless crisis. We also have like a responsibility into leading the climate change charge. I mean, like we have so much things that we need to be reorganizing our priority here. That we don't need to like be looking elsewhere. True. Our infrastructure is bad too. So, I mean, like I said, we got plenty of homework here. All right.
Yeah. Plenty to do at home, folks.
Yeah.
But China.
Yeah.
China's going to repossess the United States. They're going to come here and take our bridges. What the fuck are they going to repossess? It's just weird worry.
Yeah.
Like the entire globe is in debt. Like to fucking who? Jupiter?
Yeah, exactly.
Who do we owe money to? Space? God himself. Herself,
there you go.
Excuse me.
God.
Yeah. All right. Well, ADT, I think we're going to wrap that up right there. We've invited you here today in the spirit of building leftist unity, strength, and power. Buddy, you really brought the goods today. This is what I consider episode 1. We're going to have you back on for another round. We can start digging in. Consider this the seed that is now planted for the conversations that we can start to have. Yeah, right.
Yeah, please ask away. And like I really appreciate you having me here today. I think that this is a very, very, very good thing that you're doing.
Cool.
Having different perspectives within like the lefty Twitch content creator kind of like left sphere that you've been reaching out to, and just seeing the different types of flavors and opinions of what it means to everybody. And I think that the point being, as you said, is to build leftist unity and like just kind of give people a sense that we do work better together, And as the great philosopher Meowth from Pokemon says, maybe if we start looking at what's the same instead of what's different, who knows? Legit quote from Meowth from Pokemon. So, yeah, I think that what you're doing is great, and I hope it continues.
Thank you. I do too. Looking forward to another chat soon. Make sure you give us another Meowth quote next time, okay?
Yeah, I'll make sure.
All right, Meow. We're going to go ahead and let you go. Thank you, for ADT.
Sure. Thank you.
Peace to you. Thank you, comrade.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
We're out of here.
See ya.
See ya. It's okay. It's not really broken. See ya, buddy. That was ADT. Hey, YouTube. You're watching a clip from my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/iDanSimpson, where you can follow for free and subscribe for only $5 a month. Thanks for watching.